Greetings, programs. This is Let's Code a Full 90, where we take the next hour and a half and dig into some source code and try to make our part of the world a little bit of a better place. We're continuing our path into the Wix toolset, which is what we've been doing for the last 33 episodes, and we're going to continue with the cleanup of the to-do list. That's essentially what we're doing. I was off last week, so I'm trying to get right back into the kind of the run of things here. Remind myself where all the buttons are that I have to push. And let's just jump right into the to-do list so we can see what we're doing. This is where we're at. We're in episode 33, and we are continuing to clean up this to-do list, which is essentially cleaning up what we've done from episode 28, or things that we left behind on 28, and then 31 and 32. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, we tackled the exe package, complaining about the description and the odd error messages that created, and came up with at least a better path through. In fact, I have those error messages on my screen when we switch over to that. So that was good. That was solid progress, making it a little clearer what exactly was going wrong, or at least putting you on a better path to finding, getting to a solution. As opposed to the error message before, I was like, I can't find the source file, which wasn't the direction we wanted to go. All right, and then we jumped into the why was the netfx build failing after each architecture build, which boiled down to kind of a fundamental thing that we found in the code, that our use of a global encountered error bit in the messaging essentially causes the Wix toolset to exit early. When it could maybe make a little more progress and give you a few more error messages, which is really the goal, is to try to progress as far as we can reasonably to give the user as many errors as possible, preferably ones that don't cascade, where the first error generates 20 more errors, and if you fix the first one, the 20 after that disappear. But more the, hey, you got this wrong and this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and you can fix those 3, 5, however many things all in one go, as opposed to fix one thing, run again. Oh, here's the next error. Fix one thing, next error. And at the end, we left it with the idea that we'd maybe add an error count. And I said I'd go dig into and see if the error count on the messaging would be a safe thing. And so I think that's probably the way we're going to go. That's where we're going to pick up to continue to try to solve this. I don't expect that's going to take the 90 minutes, so then we'll go find another issue to pull out of the air and generally make the Wix toolset better. In quick other news, there is a Wix online meeting tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I was very excited that I got through cab spanning, which was one of the larger work items that I had left on my list. The largest work item being patching. I'm hoping I start patching next week, and I will be in that for weeks. Some people think I can get it maybe done in 3 weeks. I'm figuring it won't take me more than 6 months. So somewhere in that range, we should be able to get patching done. But once patching is done, we'll be down to a whole different class of issues. And while fixing other bugs around before and after vacation and such, opened a whole bunch of other bugs, all of which we'll triage tomorrow. If you want to join us at Wix Online meeting tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. in the Pacific time, those set of issues that were opened are a whole different class, simpler set of bugs than we've been dealing with anywhere else, which is a good sign. I hope it means that we're getting to, as we start using the Wix tool set more and it's capable of doing these things, we'll flush out hopefully simpler bugs and simpler bugs and simpler bugs, and we'll actually get Wix 4 done. So it's just a different feeling than kind of where it was before. I was like, oh, just buried under so many issues. A lot of things are kind of coming together. So I'm hoping I'm in patching starting end of this week, definitely starting next week. And once I get done with that, oh, it's going to feel so much better. Now, I'm not going to do patching here because patching is not my forte. It's an area that I've inherited. So it's going to be a lot of kind of wandering around, and it's complex. And it's not going to be interesting, and it's going to be a lot of me staring at the screen going, why is this? And I can't talk out loud and think at the same time on something I don't have any clue that I'm working on. So I'm going to be working on patching alone, and we'll continue to find things here, small bugs, little things like that, to improve the Wix tool set around the edges as we work on finishing patching, which is one of the big things on Wix 4. All right, so that's kind of an update of where I've been, during this whole vacation time and coming around. I was gone for several days, but it's just nice to kind of be in the back in it and getting it into a better place. All right, so where are we at in the code? I hope this editor is right where we left off. It is. All right. Oh no, this isn't the converter. I was looking at the converter code. The preprocessor. That's where we were. I thought I was there. In the preprocess command. Yes. So here's the error count. All right. Here we go. Let me pop this up a little bit, and we'll bring in the end crunch over here on the side so you guys can see that. Okay. Error count. So the idea with this is that rather than using the big an error occurred at some point in time, which would bypass so much of the preprocessor running, and we'd like to be able to run through the preprocessor for each document to say, hey, at least we can validate that all of your documents are valid XML, and if not, you can get all of the XML errors for across all your files in a set of errors. The idea being that, hey, if we have the error count, we can remember that, and if the error count is the same as it was when we started, that means this particular run didn't hit any errors, so go ahead and return the results. And that seemed like that would work. And then we went through and implemented it real fast. I rebuilt so the error count is on the interface, went to the messaging object and said, hey, if we encountered an error, now is based off the error count being greater than 0. If we encounter an error, this is error count. So this is used all over the system. Encountered error, so definitely want to keep that around so we don't have to change everywhere that encountered error to error count greater than 0. And then we implement the error count. And I'm still a little worried about tracking the error count here, but it's not really any different than the fact that we're using encountered error, and all this points to a thing that I want to change radically in the way that we're storing errors and all that kind of stuff, but not in Wix 4. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that we can't run large chunks of the Wix toolset in parallel, which isn't that big a deal in Wix 4, definitely, but it might be nice if we could, especially since the compile step should be trivially parallelizable. Oh, that's not an easy word to say. Anyway, so it's like, it'd be nice if we got to a place where, yeah, these things could be trivially parallel. Let's go ahead and do that. But given the design, especially around messaging and the way all this is done, we're more than a hop, skip, and a jump away from that. I don't know that's a Wix 5 thing, but in the future, something to generally do error messages better. All of this coming down to error count would not hold up well if we're doing lots of work in parallel. We're not doing lots of work in parallel, so it should be fine. So we should be able to do this, hey, let's hold on to the error count before and validate it after, because we know we're not running in parallel. All of this should just work. Should just work out fine. All right, so if that's true, I think we've already run through all of the error cases, and this just works better. Now I'm just trying to remember, where was I going with this? My build is complete and failed in the .NET Core code because I left these error messages in, or I left this in an error state. Oh, let's go there and see if I can remind myself how we were building this from the command line and only getting one error at a time. Actually, I think this is showing it. Right. This may be showing it right now. Yeah, I think this error message is doing it. Here we are, where we had x64, and in the past, it would have stopped at the first error message right here and said, hey, you can't build this one. Now it is running multiple times, and we're getting both x64 and the x86 build error messages out of the system, where before we would have only got the x64 set of errors. And with the changes we made, we now get more error messages than we used to. I think way back when we got one, but these are now hopefully pointing people in the right direction that, hey, you need to put your hash or certificate public key. All right, so I think I accidentally validated that I wanted this to work, this works now, is that we are actually getting both x64 and x86 failures at the same, out of one build. Now, this is probably not the best case or best example of this case because it is actually repeating, and the same fix in both of these, the same fix in both these cases fixes everything, but that's okay. Now, all right, so we did this for the preprocessor, which allowed us to get back to the build command. Let's see, where are we at in the build command for the preprocessor? Not two S's. No, we don't want to replace anything. Processor. Let's see, compile phase with the preprocessor, all that good stuff. Right. So if the preprocessor was allowed to run, if we got a document back, if we did not get a document back, then we skip and go on to the next one. Otherwise, we try to come in here and compile. And I want to take a quick look at compile and see how compile looked if it had any, like the preprocessor, if it had any top level error message, bailing on an error message outright, and see if we can maybe get somewhere through the compiling. But I think the compiler generally worked out a lot better because it would attempt to parse things, and then it would just say, oh, you hit an error. I'm not going to try to take what I parsed and turn it into real symbols, which is where all the errors would happen if things didn't work correctly. So we could just go through and look at all the code, parse it, and go, well, this didn't parse correctly. Here's all your error messages, but we could generate all those for quite a way. So I think the compiler is okay. I'm just kind of looking for a top level one. Let's see, we're looking at source line numbers, all that, and then post compile. So compile core, compile source, root name, parse wix element. All right, yeah, so this is the top of the compile, and we don't have any checks for if this encountered an error bail, which is what I was looking for. And instead, like, hey, you hit the wix element. That's great. That's the top level of a source, of a wix source, of course. No, okay, bad, sorry. Anyway, and you can see here, hey, we're gonna go in the wix element. We're gonna try to parse it. We're actually gonna try to parse all of its children. And I guess this doesn't have any error handling in it, but if we then go look at like the new package element, we go in and look, we'll parse the package element, get any errors for bad stuff from there, not fully complete. We'll try to do all this good stuff, and then all of the children that are underneath the package, for example, and then we get to the end here and we go, look, if it's not encountered an error, in other words, if everything's okay, then we create the symbol. Cool. And if it did encounter an error, then we don't create the symbol because a lot of this data will be wrong or not valid, and we can't create a symbol for it. So we just skip all that, but we did go through all the work of parsing everything, which gets most of the error messages. All right, so I think compile's in a good spot. It was just a preprocessor bailing on every single attempt after one failure. It's like, nope, I'm not going to parse, or I'm not going to process any more source files, so it wasn't getting past the first file that had an error in it. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's go back and look at the build. Well, and then after that, so you get through the pre-process. If we can't process the document, it's not valid XML, or that's most of the errors, not valid XML, or I guess you could have some issues with pre-process directives, but most of the time it's not a valid XML document in some way. So we're not going to, obviously not going to try to parse that. All right, so that's the preprocessor, and then we compile, and we attempt to compile, and if that works, then we create a set of intermediates, all the symbols, and then when we come back up here, we attempt to load the localization files. Okay, that's interesting. So we could load the localization files and spit out any errors that are in those. Okay, we'll go look at that code, and then we give up. So if we hit any errors processing any files or compiling, then we just bail outright. And I think this is fine. So let's go look at load localization files real quick. And load localization files, loc files in Wix4 are now preprocessed, which is was a ask that people had before. So we know that this now does the right thing. If there are only if there are errors created in this document does it return null. And then we try to parse localization, but we don't have any other checks for the maintain files. So that's good. So it means that we go through and compile all our WXS files, and then we will spit out any errors we hit while processing WXL files, localization files. And that feels pretty good. That's essentially all of the files. I think that's all of the text files that are input into the system. So that should allow us to essentially take all of the inputs from users and validate them to some reasonable degree. If they're not valid XML, we bail, or we get them to the compiler, or we get them to loc, and we will spit out all of the parse errors and that stuff. Actually, what we didn't look was at the parse localization here. And this looks fine. Yeah, this is just looking at the XML elements. Let's go look at parse localization element. I don't see it using encountered error. This is built much like the compiler. And then if it encountered an error, does not return a localization object, which is fine. But it did attempt to parse this file. So we could get null back there. And then we move on. Right, but we would encounter an error, so everything is all tried to be processed. So that's good. Essentially, we take all of the inputs from the users and at least validate that they're correct XML, that the preprocessor can get through them, and then we attempt to run the compiler or the loc parser over them to make sure that they at least have as much good shape as we can hope for. That's awesome. That, I think, is what we're looking for. And I thought there was more left to do here. But the fact that we got this set of error messages spat out showing us both x64 and x86 files being compiled at the same time is a good sign. All right, let's also now look at this wixlib. Let's see if I take this file, I think. Bring back Visual Studio Code. All right. So this is x64 and x86. All right, so we had these two files here that were creating the problems, and we didn't get any error messages for those. I was looking to see if there was an ARM version of this file, since we only have these two files here being complained about. I wanted to see if there was a third one that should have been printed. Doesn't look like it. And my expectation is, we're not going to be able to see from this log, but my expectation is that all of these other files were processed and did not have problems. So let's go ahead and validate that real quick. There, that should make them all invalid. And then I should do, just run the netfx command. Here we go. Now I'm hoping I get errors in several files at this point. And what do we see? We see our x86, our net core, x86, x64, and we also see that our net core 3.1 x64 is not a valid file, and this and net core share is not a valid source file because I added junk at them, which is correct. That's what I did. All right, that and that. Great. Great, great, great. That's awesome, 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 awesome. Run this again, and the next thing we're going to do is bring up our diffs and see what changes we made to these net core files that I think we probably don't want to. I staged all these just to have them hanging around. All right, so what did we do to this file? I have a feeling we deleted a very important part. Yeah, the certificate, public key, and thumbprint. That recreated the error for us. So we do not want that change. Thank you very much. And we don't want this change either, right? Yep, there it is. That one too. Okay. Discard both of those. And let's see. I have the delete. Can I? I want to bring the deleted file back. Guess I want to. Let's see. What options do I have? I don't usually use VS Code, so I'm going to try to use VS Code to revert this change. Boom. And then use VS Code to revert this change. And there's another change? No? Okay, so why is VS Code? Oh, but I just have to let those files save. There's still changes to these files? Oh, there they're gone. Okay. And I guess there's a white space change to this. There it is. I deleted a line because it didn't match the other ones. All right, we'll decide if that's good. All right, there's the change for the encountered error and the error count. We look at iMessaging. We have the error count in the interface that everybody can use. Okay, and then mock messaging, I went through and added the error count and then moved to using bodies instead of the arrows, which is something we've been doing. Added a test for our other case where we cannot build XE with package source. All right, I think I threw a whole bunch of stuff in here to not lose it. There's our test. I don't want this file. Yep, that was our debugging of the net effects. Great. Where's our changes in the preprocessor? What do we have here? Okay, I see. Probably fixed a couple warnings while in the preprocessor. Yep, all those are warnings, plus the error count thing. Got it. And then the build command, right? It's not encountered error, it's document equals null. That makes sense. In the payload, this was the fix to get good error messages, and then the messaging thing. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and, can I unstage everything here? Does that do what I think it does? Yes, it did. Great. Okay. How do I want to word this thing? I'm going to add, we did these in different order, but I'm going to do this one first. I want to get the error count in first. Mock messaging, that goes in. Not the XE package fixture, not that. I want the changes for the preprocessor to bring the error count back. Yeah. The build command to handle when the document is null. And when the document is null in loc files. Yeah. The compiler payload, this is our fix for the next thing we're doing. And then here's the actual implementation in the actual messaging system for our new error count mechanism. All right, so all of this is for handling, how do I want to say this? What's the purpose of this? The change here was to enable us to get through pre-processing even if another error already occurred. So let's see, I don't know how I want to say that. Control enter to commit, that's not one. All right, so new lines do the right thing here. Oh, all right, gotta switch to English. What am I doing? The purpose of this commit is to, let's see. Process as many files as possible. That's not the words I want. All right, I gotta get into word mode here. Let's see. I need the switch to insertion mode in VI, except I need text generation here. My brain. What am I trying to do? I am trying to preprocessor no longer preprocessor will, Bob says, fail slowly. I want the preprocessor will not fail slowly. I wanted to say will continue. All right, no, because it did process before. Yeah, see, that's interesting. I'm just thinking about the history of this change. It's interesting because if you passed invalid XML, we were getting those. Oh, right, but if you're getting good files, we were throwing those out. That was the problem. Continue. How about preprocessor only fails if current document does not parse. All right, let's see. Maybe after I start here. Previously, preprocessor would not return successfully parsed file, processed files if an error was encountered. All right, fine. Encountered with this file or any previous file. That prevented the preprocessor from returning valid results. Successful. I guess that's what I'm saying already. Now the preprocessor will only fail if the current processed file encounters generates any errors. Period. All right, there, something like that. Does this show me a branch? Am I on a branch? This isn't showing me. Oh, there. Good. I'm on a branch. That's all I want. Nope, I don't want to create. Oh, clicking on that allows me to create a new branch. Okay, that's cool. I just want to make sure I'm on a branch, and I am up to date. I did an update before all of this to make sure I was on the latest developed. So we are running with the latest code. All right. So now this is easier, I think. We'll put that one in there because we're all in the same spot. Yes. This is I think an easier message. Improve error messages for remote payloads. Is it for remote payloads? Is it? Yeah, I guess it's for remote payloads. I think that's all I see, because it really is just better error messages. That's all we're doing here. But we had a nice little test for it to validate that. All right, improve error messages for remote payloads. I think that's really it. Small but useful change. Do I need this anymore? That allows us to debug that. I don't think I need that file, but we'll leave it there. Wow. All right. That's good stuff. Now, unfortunately, don't know how to have VS Code. There's probably an extension to show me VS Code history, but I want to see where I'm at. Don't need to authenticate source tree, please. Here we go. All our changes are in. Here's our history. I have a mess of stuff because I was rebasing. But here's our changes on top of develop. Preprocessor only fails if the current document does not parse. Yep. And improve error messages for remote payloads. And that's that. Those are the two things that I wanted to go through and get checked off in our to-do. Let's go back. Oh, it's going to keep that. All right. Don't need that. Don't need that. Actually, I don't need most of you. Where's my to-do? Close others. Thank you. All right. So technically speaking, I think we finished this in episode 33. Or finished in episode 2. Finished episode 32. Validated in episode 33. All right. Notes to myself, just so when I come back, I know that they're here and validated and committed. All right. And here, we're going to say this was committed in episode 33. Was this finished? I guess that was finished in episode 2. All right, cool. Awesome. Wow. That went swimmingly. This is just using the Wix tool set and finding things that don't work well, and then going and making hopefully rather small changes to the tool set to make it work better. All right, I feel like I've pretty caught up now. So we have another hour here. I was kind of hoping this would happen, honestly. I think what we're going to do is I mentioned that I opened some new bugs. Yeah, this is a preview of what's coming tomorrow for the Wix meeting. Is we've got 12 open issues to walk through, and you'll see I opened like half of them in here. I think Sean opened the other half. Anyway, so we've been busy using the Wix toolset, so we'll triage those. But there's one in here that I opened, which is this bundle exception, or a build exception when a bundle has a software tag, but the chained MSI does not. And this is clearly busted. We don't want these exceptions. MSI exception coming out of the build is a bad thing. Bad thing. So let's go ahead and fix it. Now this was done to the theme viewer package, which is new. Or rather, the theme viewer package didn't have a software tag in it, and the bundle tried to. Anyway, let's go create a repro for this issue, which means we build a bundle that wants to have a software tag, but an MSI in it but it references an MSI that does not have a software tag in it. And we should be able to go create this error message. And who knows, maybe we have an hour, maybe we'll make a pretty good dent in tackling this thing, because I'm pretty confident Triage is going to take this issue, because we don't want MSI exceptions coming out of the toolset, because it's a terrible experience. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this. Let's see, number. How do I refer to these? Yeah, I guess I'm just doing this. Number that, this, and I'm gonna grab this so I can remember what that number is about. All right, let's go in a test, build a bundle as part of our tests that has a software tag that refers to an MSI that does not. I think I'm just gonna close all view. We're gonna get a nice clean slate here. Close all tabs. Thank you. All right, into the tests, into our integration space, I think. And we have the bundle. We have I think, maybe we don't have a tag fixture. Oh yeah, we do, software tag fixture. So it's either you put it in here or you put it in the bundle with tag. I think I'm gonna put in software tag fixture. So let's go ahead and do that. Can build a bundle with a tag. Now here, this looks good, but we wanna build, this is a product with a tag. So I want to build a bundle with a tag where the MSI does not have a tag. All right, cool. So let's grab this test for the most part and go this way. Can build a bundle with tag where MSI does not have tag. All right, we'll wait and Crunch will catch up to me, and then I will pin this. There we go. That's our test. We need to get this to fail first. Let's go ahead and try to do that and make sure that I'm not crazy. It's always possible I open this issue and I was like, what the heck? All right, so this is using the product tag MSI. I just want any plain old MSI. We have a simple MSI in here, if I remember correctly. Simple package WXS. That is a pretty simple package with no tag. Let's try to build, I like that one. Let's build that one. Build, test data folder, test data, yes. Simple package to simple package WXS. We don't need that. Oh, I didn't look. What does it need? It needs test.txt, which means it needs the test data. Most bundles use a pre-built MSI. I guess we could check that. Is there a pre-built MSI in them underneath here? Well, here's a bundle with tag, but yeah, it's kind of like the. I wonder if there's something to our test. Oh, that's good. Cannot find the file test. All right, let's go here. I don't need log. Let me just kind of go through here. Test data. Yeah, why don't we have test text there? Seems like we put test text in like all their little. Now there's a test MSI. That's a simple bundle. Is this actually? Let's go ahead and open containing folder. And then let's edit this MSI, see if it's actually an MSI. Come on, Orca. Ooh, it's actually an MSI. Does not have it. So we could use that one. Yeah, this is an organization. I guess we could use that one. That would be simple bundle data test MSI. All right, let's try, but then I need bundle with tag, bundle with tag. All right, let's look at bundle with tag, WXS code. It needs test MSI. That's good. All right, well, maybe we can get away without creating our own MSI. Let's go and see if we can get that far. Let's see. All right, there's that bundle with tag, and I want it to use this test folder, test data folder. Yep. All right. So I want simple bundle, not bundle tag. Don't hit down. Data, and I think it's right here. Yeah, right there. So that should be enough to build that, to get that bind path, that, and that. Let's see. All right, we built that, and hey, nope. Wait, maybe it did. What's the error message here? Internal MSI failure when error 16, MSI error 228. The tag ID software, I need to make this bigger. I know you guys can't read it all. Software identification, select from that MSI view. Oh, there we go. Internal MSI failure. I think that's the same as our build exception. Internal MSI build failure, 1615. 1615, MSI error 228. All right. I think we found it. Cool. Let's see. All right, great. Now that we've been able to repro that, and this is going to take us straight to the place that we want to go. All right. Now the rest of this, I have to see which do I want. I think the rest of this will be correct once we get this done. All right, let's go ahead and look. So process bundle software tags, and here it is. So this could be easy. So this is trying to open a view, even if it doesn't exist. So I think we just need to say if db.table exists, software identification table. Come on. If that, wait, I'm curious. So if I say add braces, does it do it right? It did do it right. All right, thank you. And the test passed, which is what we expect. Because it doesn't fail trying to read the MSI, which doesn't have a software tag, but the bundle itself still has a tag, and everything works out just fine. And we don't have to build another MSI, which will speed things up a little bit. Although we do have these little binary MSIs in the Git history. I don't know. That won't diff. It's just fine as long as we don't change them, right? Okay, so now that I look at this, where the MSI does not have a tag, let's take a look at this one real quick. Here, I want to pin this test. And with tag, yep. Let's debug this all the way down. I'm not worried about that. Yep, we've already verified that all that code worked. Thank you very much. There's a SWID tag. Oh, okay, here we are in the test. All right, hopefully it gets this. Oh, the SWID tag is the XML. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, perfect. There we go. See, it has this link to the MSI package, which is what we want. So I want to also, in this test, verify that it has the link in the XML. All right, so what is it doing? It's getting the SWID tag element, the path, and then it's writing the SWID tag to that, and then it's loading it. Interesting. I wonder why it's writing it to disk. Maybe to make it easier to debug? I don't know. All right. Anyway, so in the doc tag, then, yeah, all right, so everything is there. I want the, what is this getting? This is getting the version attribute off the top of the tag, okay. And then the upgrade code. All right, name, version, all that kind of good stuff. Great. All right, so let's go grab the single link element. Groovy. Let's go here and this is doc tag root element. One element, right? Yep. Link. And then, oh shoot, I forgot the too many things. Assert starts with, yeah, I think I want starts with, because I'm pretty sure that it's the MSI is static though, so I can validate the whole thing. All right, I was thinking that it's probably using the product code, and if we built the MSI every time, the product would change, but it's not here. It was something like MSI. I'm gonna have to look it up again because I did not memorize it. I should have. Package code, yada yada yada. MSI link dot attribute, whichever one it is, dot value. Groovy. Now come to here, and let's debug this again so I can look at the doc tag and actually notice the things that I want. Yes, so the rel is component and href is that plus that component. I think that's right. That. All right, where's my VS Code? That. All right, great. I'll take this first, please. Thank you. All right, cool. And I want to verify equal that this is a component from the MSI link attribute rel. Yes, rel dot value component, and this is the href. Zoom zoom. I got this wrong. Let's see, what did I get wrong? Object is not set to an attribute. I didn't get, maybe MSI link is null. Root element. All right, well, let's look. Root is software tag. I thought element would give me the link element underneath it. It is null. All right, well, what am I missing? Root, return that. And then I wanted the, I have to put it in the namespace, I bet. Because I'm looking at an element, so I need the namespace. SWID tag namespace, probably. Let's try that. Right? Yeah, I think that'll probably work better. Right? Yes, please. Zoom, go, go, go. Maybe? Man, it's taking a bit. No, still didn't like that. Root element gets the first element. All right, let's do elements single, because there should only be one. That's a good check anyway. That's gonna fail because it's coming back empty. What am I missing? What am I missing? Am I using elements wrong? That's the root. Link. Spelled it right. It's in that namespace. I'm gonna go double check, make sure the namespace is correct. Link element. What am I missing? Oh, that's the problem. The namespace is wrong. Which namespace? Oh, it had the old namespace here. Okay, that's fine. Had the 2009 instead of the 2015 namespace. There we go. And now this is wrong. Oh, the GUID is changing. Is the GUID changing? I thought the MSI was checked in. So the GUID should not be changing. Oh no, this one's building its MSI. Duh. This one is actually building its MSI. Or building its product. It's the other one that's fixed. So I'm gonna go back to starts with. I'm not too worried about the fact that the GUID is correct. As long as it starts with that. That means it'll probably have a GUID after it, and I'll be fine with that check. There we go. All right, cool. All of that makes sense. Let's grab this again, put it here, and we want to say assert empty, not equal, empty, empty, empty. There, that was too hard. And not single, but everything. Boom. So we want to validate that there is no link to the MSI. There. Now we validated both directions. Okay. Let's bring up VS Code again, see if I can get a little bit better at using this diffing tool. I'm about ready to get rid of this launch settings file here. Process the bundle. So the crash was, or the exception, was because we were trying to open a view on a table that the MSI did not have, which doesn't make sense. So we have to first check that the MSI has the table, and then we open the view. And we can't do this earlier. We have to open the database so that we can look inside it. So I can't put that if higher. It'd be great if I could skip all this, but we have to look inside the MSI. So that means opening it. Okay, it's fine. That is the right bit of detail there. And then in our fixture, we fixed the namespace. I guess it wasn't used before. It was gray. I remember seeing that. All right, so it wasn't used before. So now we're validating that our SWID tag has a link in it to the MSI. So essentially the way this works is that the bundle is the SWID tag. So the SWID tag is about the bundle. And then inside the bundle, it has links to all of the constituent MSIs. Did we miss prefixing that table Wix 4? All the other extension tables did that. That's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't think that one has Wix 4 in it. Is it new? No, it's old. It hasn't changed. I think it's backwards compatible. I think that's why it didn't change. Because we brought it in from the tag. I think it's a standard table. So it doesn't get a Wix name on it. That's why it doesn't have a Wix name on it either. It's not a standard table. It's one we made up, but whatever. All right. And then can build bundle where it does not have a tag, which does all those tests again to validate it. And then here. All right. Now, why do we write this to disk? The tag, write it to disk. I'm going to try but we load the BA data, then we get that SWID tag. Oh, the namespace? No, I don't think so. Path combined that. No, and this gets the element value, so that just gets the text of that, right? Because it's stored as a string. Right, let's see if I can avoid writing it to disk and the test will be that much faster. I don't think we're getting anything by writing it to disk. Other than, yeah, it'd be nice if the test failed, it would leave that folder, but let's just see. If I take that out and I just use that, it should be the same thing. Or no, not load, parse. This is gonna fail because it can't load XML. Yeah, no file name does not contain XML, but parse does. Maybe? Man, taking a second. No, still failed. The data at the root level is invalid. Oh, maybe this is why it was written to disk. All right, let's just look at that real quick. I'm just curious. What is it? Oh, UTF-8. Oh. So the document says it's UTF-8. So for us to get the encoding right, we have to write it to disk as UTF-8. Otherwise, what do we have to do? We'd have to change it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can kind of see why it did that. And the alternatives are to change the doc type to, I guess, UTF-16, but then we're futzing with it more than maybe I want to. But I do want to try. All right, I want to try real quick. All right, what am I going to do here? I'm going to not do that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do swid tag, replace. I think I can do this. UTF-8. I think this will work. UTF-16. Let's see if it works. So that should give us UTF-16 in the only place that UTF-8 shows up, which I think is in the xdoc header. I don't know if this is going to work. I think that's right. Nope, not quite right. Oh gosh, I did it again. Left it as load. Parse. Now let's see. Data root L is still invalid. Line 1, position 1. Okay. I'm just curious enough. I just want to futz with this a little bit. See. I thought that was UTF-16. I thought it was that this is all UTF-16. I should have pulled this out. Let's see. Can I put this in the immediate window? Will it show me what it's going to do? Yeah, okay. Well, it did that. XML version 1.0. Software identity tag. I guess UTF-16 isn't quite right for the encoding if I want to read it in from a string. Yeah, anyway. Again, I don't know if I'd want to keep that anyway, because this is correct. Because what happens is that burn writes the swid tag to disk. So it's good that we're verifying that the contents are able to be read by an XML document reader from disk, I guess. That's how I'm gonna justify that. Well, that was fun. That worked out pretty well. That would be one of these 12 issues that were opened. All right, so the other one that I opened that I thought, yeah, this Windows Star core compile and then this PDB are both MS build things. Those aren't going to be fun to do. I don't think I really want to take any of those others right now. All right, let's go ahead and before I forget, I'll assign myself this one. There we go. And then go take a swing at that. All right, cool. Well, since we have time, I think I'm going to go drop down. That's good. Actually, let's go update to do or software tag fixture. Are you up to date? Up to date. Up to date. Yep. All right. Go ahead and put that in. Okay. So that's that. I think that's pretty good. Updated the test to validate that there was a link, and then updated the test to validate that there is no link, and then also made it so that the thing doesn't crash on it. What was the other thing I was going to do? The Wix, I don't remember what I call it. Additional tools.wxs. Right. Here it is. Bring back software tag when this is fixed. 6854. That's what we're doing. All right, so now that we have this fixed, this is how I found the issue. I was creating the Wix additional tools, which is a bundle that we're building out of the Wix toolset to ship the theme viewer. It's way overkill to just ship theme viewer, but we need to ship theme viewer it's not overkill for that. We need to ship theme viewer, so it's important for that, but it's only shipping theme viewer. But it also is using the Wix toolset, because before this, given the way that we're distributing everything through NuGet packages, and their integration MS Build and .NET Tool and all that, we didn't have an MSI or XC, a bundle to ship out of Wix, and it just felt wrong. So I've been trying to come up with a logical case for shipping a bundle built with the Wix toolset out of the Wix toolset. So at this point in time, Wix Additional Tools is where it's at. So I went through and created the Wix Additional Tools, which, as you can see, has at this point in time only theme viewer package. And maybe this will change as we get closer to preview 1. Maybe we'll add some more tools in here, or maybe we'll shove all of Wix into here because we want to ship the Wix tools themselves inside a bundle the way they were shipped in Wix 3. I don't know. We'll deal with all those kinds of questions as we go along. But this is definitely a good thing to have, because this is how I found all those issues. And I just created this thing and started using the Wix toolset as I would expect it to work. And I found problems like software tag not working, which we're going to turn on now. So I want to drop this in as well. There we go. Wix Additional Tools. Boom. Man, that diff looks much bigger than it is. I guess it's 2 lines. Delete and then bring all that stuff back. Yeah, okay, cool. Fixes 6854. I'll double check that because I will typo those if I'm not careful. Build exception 6854, 6854. Great. Wait, what? Whoa. If I push up, it gives me the previous messages I used, and then down and then down. Oh, that's kind of weird. So if I hit the up key here at the top of this commit message, it gives me the previous message. And if I hit down, it gives me the old message. And that's interesting. I think that's weird. Huh. I don't know if I'm good for that. But all right. As strange as it is. So this is do not crash when bundle has SWID tag but MSI child MSI does not. All right. Let's be a little more pop. Yes, there we go. Prevent crash when bundle has SWID tag but child MSI. Fix that. All right. Boom. So that's pretty cool. And drop this right here. Cool. That was awesome. Awesome. Got something extra here too. We still have a half hour. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with the rest of this half hour. This is assigned to me now. We're not gonna take any more issues. We are going to go do that, which is not terribly exciting. I don't know, maybe it's exciting. I don't know. But is important. And that is, I think I can, no, I'm gonna leave that open. There we go, over the website. And we look at where we're diffing. We are in the schema. So I think I'm gonna pick up here. Let's see if this will open up where we left off. Yes, the Wix XSD. Let's go pick up some things here. And here's what's completed. Package, summary information, condition, launch level, remove registry, things like that. And we've been through those. All right, let's see. We're gonna go, given I have a half hour left here, go hang out and pick up some more things in the XSD that just need to be tackled. And honestly, let's just kind of go towards the top and the top of package. I want to continue down from package, kind of like I did with summary information. So no, find package. There we go, that element. Add and execute sequence. Okay, yeah, let's look at the sequences. Why not? We don't have anything else to do. here. So let's go dig into the sequences a little bit. I don't know. That's conversion. Oh, well, if we have conversion, that means something about the element has changed. I wonder if we can tell fastest right here. Sequence to tables. Where is this used? Wix action. No. Oh, this is the symbols. Nah, that's not as interesting as I thought it was. I'm just looking for the compiler. Right. Parse sequence element. Yeah, I figured. So all of the sequences, admin, execute sequence, admin UI sequence, advertise sequence, install execute sequence, and UI sequence all go through the parse sequence element. So we can probably knock out all of these sequence tables real quick simply by updating the XSD to match what is now inside the sequence. So let's do that. So here's parse sequence element. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's go back. Can I pop you to the right? Is that too small? Probably gonna be too small. Yeah, all right. I forgot, if I hit F12, does it go? No, that's too bad. All right, let's go find the admin execute sequence. Admin execute sequence. Choice. Where are we at? Oh, in a module. Huh. The modules still have them in a sequence in forced order. Huh, that's odd. Wonder why it did that. Yeah. Fragment's like, yeah, you can have sequences anywhere. No big deal. Okay. All right, here we go. Admin execute sequence. And this says that's the link to it. And it will give me a new URL over here in my browser in this other window. So let's go and change Control H. And if I say replace, 1 of 1. All right, I guess that doesn't surprise me. Aren't that many references to admin execute sequence? And, oh man. Yeah, this is one of the interesting things about the Wix toolset, in that we created elements for every single one of the standard sequences. Not sure that's what we should have done. Maybe we should have had a standard sequence element or something like that, and then had an enum that you could drop down. Then it would have that enum would be a really long list of all the standard sequences. But that's not what we did. We made separate elements for everything, and we didn't change that in Wix 4, so that stays the same. Man, there's so many of these. Okay, so this is the custom element, and this can oh right, this can occur min and then as many times as you want. All right. Why is it on both the choice and the element? Okay. Need to go back and double check that in the XSD. All right. So this says that the only thing in this element is a bunch of sequence, a bunch of elements. Is that true? Action. After, before, this is child attributes on the sequence. Oh no. All right. Parse each action in it. It's only parsing elements. Okay. So there's all of this stuff here and all wrapped around that. All right. And then no inner text is allowed. Okay. I don't think this said that inner text was allowed anyway. We have all of these elements and that's it. Okay. All right, we haven't changed the list of allowed actions, so I think that's going to mean that if I'm going to trust that all of the sequence tables list is still correct, which I'm pretty confident it is because we didn't touch it, then I don't have to validate these internal things. That's great. Now we do need to look at cost initialize. All right, so but we do need to look at the individual actions. All right. Getting ahead of myself. All right, so this is the admin execute sequence. It had no attributes and no child text, all good. And then it had all of these elements in it. And so I think we're done with the admin execute sequence at this level. I'll put it down here. Now I want to go look at the the install execute sequence. All right, so let's go look at the first thing here, the admin UI sequence. Let's go look at that. And we're going to need to update this, at least its URL. Admin UI sequence, so replace this old numbered URL with the nice friendly one, and it's all up to date. And then again, we're in here looking at all of these, the choice, and then all of the elements, and then it's just on to the next one. All right, let's do admin execute sequence here. Oh, it's the one I just did. All right, admin execute came after admin UI. All right, cool. All right, so that's admin UI sequence. I thought there's more to the sequences, but I guess they really are just container elements, given the way we wrote them, that have all these children in them. Yeah, all right, fine. So back to the top, and we will take on the advertised execute sequence, which is, I forget which of these is small. One of these is very small. Yeah, that's the table, the ADVT execute sequence table. And update the URL to this, or rather this, to that. Yep, only one reference to it, that's fine. And again, it's a complex type that has all these children, and then Windows installer 1.5 actions. I don't think we need this comment anymore. I mean, who's targeting the Windows installer 1.5? Man, that is an old comment when you think about it. Installer 1.5, whew, long time ago. And that's back when Fusion was first introduced. All right, so that's the advertised execute sequence. And then where's my next sequence? No, come on. Sequence. There you are, install execute sequence. Go look at this. This one may be more interesting. Oh, yeah, he's referenced more than once. Where are we at in here? All right, we're in the fragment, that's fine. He's referenced by the set directory, that's fine. Down with that. Install it, yep, by set property. Okay, first step first, let's see. No, that's the old link. Let's update it to the new link. Woohoo! Is this fun or what? All right, so that's that complex document. Used only to supply default op or child action elements. Used to supply default op. That we see operation. All right, I need to, none of the other ones had that. I'm gonna take that. I need to go remind myself of choice and sequence, because there's this interesting interaction between choice and sequence that creates this. I have a feeling that this is redundant because this is a choice. These guys all have a minicurve 0, which is that one has a minicurve equals 0. This doesn't have a minicurve equal. This is weird. All right, it's starting to bug me. I'm gonna have to go hunt this down. All right, so all the elements in here, minicurve equals 0. I guess. That's interesting. Is it saying that that action is optional, but register MIME info would be optional? Why do some of these have minicurve equals 0 on them and others don't? That's just weird. Install execute can option appear anywhere between install initialize and install finalize. Yes, why is this a comment? All right. You take the 1.5 actions out again. I mean, at a certain level, this is documentation and should be added somewhere to the. I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to save it for a second, and I'm probably going to go add it to these actions. All right. So again, this element Complex type is fine. Has no children. Okay. And we updated the URL, right? Yes, we did. All right. One more sequence table to go look at. Install UI sequence. Yep, all these things reference the same way install execute sequences. I guess that's a useful link. All right, let's get the new URL for you instead of this number one. Good. All right. And now 0, 1, yeah, 0 unbounded. So custom and show can show up many times. Min occurs equals 0 on all of these, but not on these. Wow. Install UI sequence is a lot shorter than I thought it was, but I guess that's right. There isn't as much that you can put in there. I mean, you could put a whole bunch of show, which are essentially the way you do dialogues. And of course, you can always have custom actions. But yeah, there aren't a whole lot of things you do in the install UI sequence. Although some of them are big. Cost finalize is a big one. All right. Isolate components? Really? Really? Okay. Really? Really? Isolate components can be inside the install UI sequence? I don't know if I believe that. Unless that's the planning side of it, that's a really strange thing to show up in the... Yeah, that's really strange in the UI sequence. All the rest of these make sense. Although, please don't schedule a reboot in your UI sequence. Oh. Anyway, okay. Okay. Wow. All right. Okay, so delta those things. These look better. Where are we at? All right, I'm gonna go dig in a little bit and go, I'm trying to find a quick something. I guess this will do. Let's see if Microsoft documentation will help me. All right. The maximum number of times the choice can occur. The value could be an integer, set to no limit. The minimum. Maybe this isn't going to help me. Allows one and only one of the elements contained in the selected group to be present within the containing element. One and only one of the elements contained in the selected group. Yeah, okay. Min occurs. The minimum number of times the choice can occur. Right, so allows one of the elements to occur. All right, 0 or many times. Okay, max occurs. Yeah, see, that's what I thought. And then sequence, let's see, XSD sequence requires the elements in the group to appear in a specified sequence. And we've been getting rid of sequence everywhere because it's really annoying to deal with, being forced to organize your code in a certain direction. And then this, yeah, see here, the max occurs says the maximum number of times the sequence can occur. The sequence can occur. The value in integer, great, right? The minimum times the sequence can occur. Yeah, so here, a sequence, this says how many times the things can show up, or how many times the whole sequence can show up, as opposed to, well, and it's the same for the choice. What I remember is that you can then specify a sequence which orders all of your elements, and then you can specify how many times on the element inside, how many times each one shows up inside the sequence. So you can say A, B, C must be in this order, and A can show up 5 times, 0 to 5 times, and C can show up to 0 to 1 times, and B must show up 1 to 3 times, or whatever. You can control all that. And choice doesn't do that. Putting a choice on an element doesn't do anything because it's about the choice showing up however many times you want. So having the min occurs and max occurs inside the choice doesn't make any sense. And I wonder if these were like changed from sequence a long time ago. Like this choice used to be a sequence and we'd force these in a certain order. And then we needed the min occurs, max occurs here. Because this just doesn't make any sense. Because you already have a min occurs 0 on the choice at the top. I don't know why we did this min occurs equals 0. Oh, if it was a sequence. All right, let's assume that this was a sequence. Then min occurs equals 0 means you would be able to remove that element from being in the list, and that would allow it to be optional. Right. It was a way of allowing things to not show up, probably. See, a lot of this went away when we figured out, you know what, we're just going to store the sequence in Wix and automatically populate it for you. So you don't even worry about all these 99.9% of the time. So it feels like a lot of this is just like documentation. It's essentially saying this is optional. App search is optional inside this search. I'm gonna write this down as a thing. On the elements and the choices in the sequence elements. 'Cause I'm not exactly sure what to do with those. I think it's all just redundant at this point. All right, let's see. Can we do a quick lookup of this? Will this find it for me? MSI table. Curious how the fastest way. I don't think this will tell me what tables it can show up. Oh, I can be used only in the install UI sequence table and the install execute sequence table. All right, what does it do in the UI sequence table? Installs a copy of the components, to a private location. I don't know anybody that uses this. It's very weird. Has some very interesting behaviors in it. Okay. Huh. I did not know there was a UI portion of it. That really is weird. Okay. Have not done enough with isolate table or isolate components action and the isolate components table to know. It's like, that one's a little weird. That one's a little bit weird, but it is documented showing the UI table. It's in the UI table. So the answer to that is yes, and I can delete it. Man, that is odd. Okay, so I went through those. I ended up with this work item to think about what to do with min occurs and max occurs. And the fundamental truth is we probably should get rid of all sequences get rid of all sequences in the XSD. So since we were doing this, let's go take a quick look at the sequence that I was just talking about. The module has a choice, all these things, and then a sequence. Essentially, the module XSD is requiring that if you have any of these, they must be in this order. And there's no reason for us to put them in this order. It's just like, look, if you want to have this element, you can have this element anywhere inside a module. But we should not be restricting them in any way. So let's get rid of this sequence. Bring these choices. And you see, when we do that, you can see how this is a min occurs equals 0. So here we had a sequence before that would say, hey, you must have these elements in this order. And then you put min occurs equals 0 on them to make them optional, because most modules do not add sequence, use the sequence table unless you're using custom actions, of course. So we don't need this min occurs now because everything in the choice is optional because the choice has a 0 on it, aka you don't have to have these things. So then we can remove this min occurs and we're back there. And I just wonder, that's why it's so weird that only some of them have min occurs on those other choices inside these sequences elsewhere. It's just a little bit strange. All right. So, okay, that admin sequence in the fragment isn't a choice. Everything in the fragment's in a choice. And that's the actual definition of the admin execute sequence. Here we are back in the package. I've looped around to the top of the file. We're back in the module. I saw this use of sequence here, and I don't like those, so we got rid of that. Okay, I feel pretty good about us getting through all of those sequence tables. Let's do a quick spin and see how many sequences we have left. Okay. Huh. Look, we have one here. Gosh, this is complex. So we have a choice. You don't have to have anything in your top level Wix element. But if you do, then we have a sequence here where if you have a bundle, package, module, or patch, it must come before the fragment. Why? Why do we require that? Why do we make people do that? I mean, I think I always write my code that way, where if I have a fragment and a package or a bundle in the same document, I always put the fragment last. But why does this XSD require you to do that? It doesn't need to. You should be able to put the fragment first if you want. So we can make this simpler by simply removing all of that junk, all of that, get rid of that sequence. And then we can get rid of fragment. But now there's one complication that this was doing for us. The choice is saying that there can only be one. That there can only be one of these, and then there can be an unbounded number of an unbounded set of those. I haven't done enough of this XSD stuff in a long time to go, wait, what? Yep. All right. That's what that sequence is doing. It's saying you cannot put two bundle or two package or two module. You can only put one of these. How to say this? You can only put one of these underneath a Wix element. It's also doing that. But then you can put as many of the fragments after that as you want. It's an interesting problem. I'm gonna have to go look up if there's a way to do this with the choice. There must be some way of doing that. Essentially, I don't want to force the order of these before the fragment. I have to go dig into that. All right, so there's one use of sequence. Here's another use of sequence. The bundle custom data element allows you to find custom XML custom data for your Bootstrap application. And it requires the bundle attribute definition before the bundle element. But it has a complex min occurs on it too. So you must have at least one bundle attribute definition, and then you can have an optional set of bundle elements. Interesting. So you have to define the attributes before you have a bundle element. Okay. We need to look in the compiler to go see if that could be different. Here's a sequence where this is going to, I think, require one, but then allow as many as you want after that. Okay. Okay. This is another sequence where you can have 0 to unbounded. Okay. And we got that sequence. I want colon sequence. All right, summary information stream. Oh, and a module. Module had another sequence in it. Man, I thought we got rid of all of these. That's interesting. Let's see. I'm not sure where those came from. Did I copy those requirements from the bundle, one from the custom table? Oh, maybe. Yeah, I could see a custom table having sequences like that. And since the bundle custom data is like a custom table, probably could have inherited. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so this sequence is forcing the summary information stream ahead of everything else. And it does that to ensure that there's one and only one. And then it does everything else. All right, so, all right, let's take a look at this. I don't know, I got sidetracked on this sequence thing, but yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, in the package, we got rid of that requirement. We're just like, whatever. Let's not worry about all that. Let's just create a choice for everything and let the world be and let the compiler take care of there only being one. So I think this sequence ends up down here. So we can get rid of the sequence, pop the choice back one. Yep. Get rid of that sequence, and then we'll toss summary information stream in here too. Summary information. There we go. There we go. And we'll just let the compiler deal with there should only be one. But now you don't have to put summary. So this way you can have module and you don't have to force your summary information to be right at the top, because that's just annoying to do. It's like, I don't feel like putting my summary information. I'm like, well, you have to put it in the sequence because we want to enforce that there's only one. Patch. Okay, I'm not going to do patch right now because I'm going to come back to patching and I need to go get my head wrapped around all of this. Sequence. That's the other part of the patch. Let's look here. Patch family, same thing. I'm not doing patching. I'm not loading my brain with patching stuff yet. Family is part of patching. Upgrade image is part of patching. Patching needs all of this to be fixed up. ODBC database source. This is a perfect example where choice, I really should be fixing, whatever. We're here. Like, I'm not fixing ODB data source, so why am I doing this now? I don't know. I'm here. There. Now you're like everybody else. Sequence in the ODBC driver. Yeah, like these do not have to be that, especially that. Yeah, okay. Again, choice, and then we will bring you choice. There we go. All right, compliance check. It's the same thing. Nobody uses this. Actually, what do we do here? This is doing to make sure that these are all, that there is an optional compliance drive and then all these, but not more than one compliance drive. What? What? All right, I'm not doing compliance check yet, although we got 2 minutes. Let's do compliance check and let's just go look at the code, because who cares about compliance check? Parse compliance check. Woohoo! All right. I don't know that I've looked at this thing in forever. All right, what are we doing? We are parsing for extension attributes. All right, this thing has no attributes. I think that's what that just said. Okay, is that true? It's true. You do not have any. You do not have any attributes, but you do allow all of them. Okay. Choice. See. Choice, unbounded, and then the compliance drive. All right, let's look here. Parse search signature. So we go down this node and we go check to see if it's a signature. Wait, compliance check element, right? Compliance check element. See also, oh, sorry. Getting ahead of myself. Let me get the right URLs here. Do this in the right order. Control H. That's your new URL. 1 of 1, not surprising. Now this the property one I may get, or the signature table I may get more than one hit on. Let's see here. Control H. Yeah, 6 of 6. There we go. All right, just go replace them all. Awesome. All right. So MSI ref that adds a row to CPC search table, which I don't know that I've looked at in a long time. Okay, so CCP search table is just one identifier, right? Okay, which explains why it just parses the signatures. Okay, so let's go jump to that. And then this has the handling for compliance drive under it. And what I'm looking for is if there's a compliance drive, then that's what we return. One child, false. It can only have one of these underneath it. Fine. So it's doing a check like that. Yeah. Okay. Where'd my XSD go? I'm not going to finish here. All right. Compliance check. What a weird little doohickey that nobody uses. Compliance drive. You can have one of those and you can have many of these searches. I just don't, the code doesn't seem to be, oh, I guess it does. The compliance. Yeah, okay. This is a search, so it can have any of those and that. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. That's some good progress today. I'll go kick off another build here in the background. Back in Wix 4. Time this build. Take about 16 minutes on my machine, so it's gonna go through and rebuild everything. If that looks good, that'll be progress. I'll be back next week. Next week, I'll probably be like in the depths of patching and stuff like that. So who knows what state of mind I'm going to be during this actual stream. But I can tell you, I'll be coding. So you guys do the same. Talk to you later. Bye.